Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
Welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. For a radio audience tuning in here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all can be with us. Also tuning in through our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. We're glad you all could join us as well. Well, I know myself, along with a lot of you, will be out traveling during the summer. And as you're making your plans, there is, of course, the things to keep in mind that we all are dealing with. That, of course, is being around more people, which means, of course, being around more germs. Now, we all know what the past few years have been like when it comes to COVID. And though COVID may not be dominating the news the way it was, it definitely is something for us to be mindful of. We're here to talk to us today about how we can be able to have some great health and safety practices. We're excited to welcome Antrell Tyson to our broadcast today. Antrell is the Regional Director of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. He's going to talk to us not only, of course, about COVID, but also, of course, why it's important for us to make sure that we are updated on our vaccines, who's eligible, and, of course, where you all can go for more information. Antrell, thank you again for the time. Really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Sarah, for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Well, we have definitely talked about COVID a lot over the past few years, and though, as I mentioned in my intro, Antrell, as you know, it's not front of mind for a lot of people these days. It is definitely still something that we have to be mindful of. Why should people still care, though, about the vaccine, though, Antrell? There was such conversation about that at one time, but why is that something that they should still be mindful about?
Well, while COVID may look a little different now, it is still a leading cause of death in the U.S., and while symptoms of COVID may vary greatly, people who contract COVID can still experience serious illness that can lead to hospitalizations and even death. People who recover, even those who have mild cases initially, can experience lingering symptoms that may last for many months. COVID can damage internal organs and can lead to an increase in long-term health problems such as stroke, seizure, and heart disease. But thankfully, COVID vaccines can help lower that risk of these complications. If you're up to date on your vaccines, you might still get COVID, but the risk of ending up in a hospital or contracting long COVID is lower. The short of it is, even as the virus changes, making sure that you're up to date on your vaccines is important in reducing your risk of getting very sick.
Antrell, I don't have to tell you, I live in a state that you actually cover, Mississippi, and unfortunately, the COVID vaccines have been a point of contention for a lot of people. Does it surprise you that even though we've seen all that we have in the past few years, that there are still people who are leery about getting the vaccine and know about the effectiveness of the vaccine?
Yeah, we understand that. We've kind of been battling that for the last 3 years, encouraging people to do the right thing. But COVID is still impacting a lot of people's lives, and it's still causing severe illnesses, hospitalization, and it's still the third leading cause of death in the U.S. And even though people may be tired of talking about COVID, it is important to remember that those who are unvaccinated or not fully up to date on their vaccines are still at risk of serious health outcomes from COVID. So getting vaccinated helps people stay protected from serious health consequences down the line and avoid further disruptions of their daily lives. Simply put, we're encouraging people to stay safe, stay up to date, and stay alive.
Right, and it's such an important thing. So as I mentioned, travel is a big thing that a lot of people are doing this summer. I will be doing it myself, not for vacation, but for work and trail like a lot of people. But what are some of the health and safety practices that we should follow while we're out traveling?
Yes, Cyrus, you're correct. Summer is here, and many Americans are eager to kick off this season with travel and new adventures. But as you mentioned in your opening, that means exposure to more people and more germs. So it is important for people to make sure that they're up to date on their COVID vaccine, especially before traveling, attending crowded events, and even spending time around older adults. COVID remains a threat year-round, and staying up to date with vaccines can help keep COVID from disrupting your summer plans. Additionally, people should be aware of any important health information specific to the locations that they're traveling, including travel health notices and vaccine requirements. The height of month can also bring additional risk for outdoor activities. So people heading out for the summer should make sure that they're using their sun protection and stay cool and hydrated by drinking enough water.
Antrell, I and my family, we all got vaccinated and boosted, myself and my parents. There are talk, of course, about individuals that may have certain conditions. It may be a need for them to get an additional booster. So kind of help our audience know, how can they determine whether they need to get another COVID vaccine shot or not?
Oh, great question. So I'll just start all the way back. If you have never had a COVID vaccine, you can protect yourself against severe illness with one dose of the updated vaccine. If you've already been vaccinated but haven't received the updated vaccine, now is the time to get one, especially for people with higher risk of severe COVID illness, like older adults and people with chronic medical conditions, as you referred to. So some people now are eligible for a second updated vaccine due to their age and health status. So if you're an older adult over the age of 65, you're eligible for a second dose of the updated vaccine 4 months after your last dose. Also, people with compromised immune systems can get another updated vaccine dose 2 months after their first, or even more doses as advised by their doctor. And additionally, children 6 months and older can get an updated vaccine, but I recommend that you talk to your child's pediatrician about when to schedule an appointment for them.
Last thing I'm going to ask you about, Antrell, and I really do appreciate this information. We're going to let our audience know, of course, where they can go to be able to find a place to get a vaccine for themselves. But I know there's been some changes made, of course, for myself and, of course, for my parents. We just went, of course, to our doctor's office and we were able to get the COVID vaccine there. There was no charge. Has that changed? Has the eligibility guidelines changed as well as if there is a cost for the vaccine?
No, the vaccine is still free. So we're encouraging people to go get the updated vaccine because it is still free of charge. And if anyone has questions about where to go find the vaccine, listeners can go to vaccines.gov for more information and to find a vaccine near them.
Okay, vaccines.gov, and we'll make sure that we link that up as well. Again, everyone, Antrell Tyson has been our guest. He's the Regional Director of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Antrell, great information for our audience here in Mississippi and our online worldwide, and really appreciate you stopping by today.
Hey, thank you, Cyrus. Thank you for having me.
Okay, glad to do it. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live, part of our News You Can Use segment here at WYAD. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Let's go make today amazing. Take care.